Fake news has taken media by storm in recent years. Notoriously, a high-profile political figure such as Donald Trump has played the roles of both the perpetrator and the victim. His reputation has been distorted through internet memes with fake quotes, yet he himself carelessly used the term fake news, especially when he inaccurately called CNN fake news.
I'm going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
So what exactly is fake news? Let's warm up with basic theories. Fake news is defined as a news article that is intentionally and verifiably false and could mislead readers. It is divided into two categories: misinformation and disinformation. Misinformation is inaccurate information, a threat to information. It can cause people to make bad decisions. These are some examples: fake maps, fake websites. On the other hand, disinformation comes from a force who is actively engaged in an attempt to mislead. It can cause serious emotional, financial, and even physical harm. The key difference between misinformation and disinformation is that misinformation is wrong information that is distributed by a party that believes the information to be true, while disinformation is distributing false information with the knowledge that it is false. In 2007, Vietnamese people were bewildered by the articles claiming that eating grapefruits will cause cancer. Ngoisao.net is one of the online newspapers that contributed to this puzzling public opinion. In more detail, Ngoisao.net wrote that, according to studies by two major universities, eating grapefruits every day could cause breast cancer. It is shown that grapefruits have components that reduce the function of the liver. So why is this news article considered fake news? Let's take a look at the analysis. In July 2007, the article Grapefruit Linked to Breast Cancer was published by BBC News. The article claimed that women who eat grapefruit increases the risk of breast cancer. The above information is based on the survey results of two universities in America from over 50,000 women. The survey found that women who ate one or more grapefruits a day would increase their risk of breast cancer by 30%. It is worth noting here that the grapefruit survey was the breed of Citrus paradisi. The grapefruit has nothing to do with Vietnamese grapefruit varieties such as green grapefruit, the pomelo, Citrus maximum, and it is not grown in Vietnam. However, when some Vietnamese newspapers translated and advertised that eating grapefruits increases the risk of breast cancer, particularly a news outlet Ngoisao.net does not specify grapefruits, but only pomelo. The headline read as, "Grapefruit is likely to cause breast cancer," a clear distortion of the original information. Typically in fake news, headlines are biased, expressing a strong opinion in order to attract attention. The article was also a reproduction of a former article from Thanh Ninh News. At this point, the news regarding grapefruit linked to breast cancer has been reported by the Ministry of Information and Communications Vietnam to be detrimental and misleading to the Vietnamese pomelo market. Yet, Ngoisao.net, in the heat of the moment, still chose to restructure the article to promote the confusion to readers, with the clear interest for profitability from high online traffic to their website. Their article can hence be identified as disinformation, as Fallis 2009 claims that disinformation is intentionally false or inaccurate information that is spread deliberately. Pomelo in Vietnam is not related to grapefruit in the research of the American universities reported by the BBC, especially when the four newspapers reported eat more grapefruit increases the risk of cancer, was issued by the Ministry of Information and Communications. This disinformation from Ngoisao.net as well as other Vietnamese news outlets has led to negative consequences for Vietnamese farmers. Just over a month, the price of pomelo in the Mekong Delta has dropped from 8,000 to 10,000 Vietnam dong per kilogram to only 1,000 Vietnam dong per kilogram, and yet it is still consumed extremely slowly. In particular, the area of more than 1,000 hectares, long grapefruit in Co Co Gai Bai district, suffered more than 50 billion damage. In Bến Tre province, thousands of farmers planted more than 3,000 hectares of specialty Yasang pomelos are also plagued by bad rumors. The Cú Long River Delta Agricultural Research Institute and the Southern Fruit Research Institute must hold regular workshops with farmers and small traders to provide scientific evidence that eating grapefruits in Vietnam does not lead to cancer. However, the market of pomelos recovered very slowly. On the other hand, this fake news presented also affects the reputation of Vietnamese agricultural products to the partners in the field of import and export of agriculture. Foreign traders, especially Chinese, have more reasons to force farmers to liquidate grapefruits at a very low price. Thus, this fake news caused great damage to the economy of Dien Dinh in particular and the agricultural economy of Vietnam in general. At the same time, this also affects farmers, leaving them with capital losses and financial difficulties. Made to provoke and spread like wildfire, fake news are not easy to put out, but there are measures to stop them from reaching the full damage. As a member of the audience, you should learn how the human mind responds to information so as to prevent yourself from falling for fake news. In a 2017 study in Singapore, audience assessed the authenticity of news through two stages, internal and external. In the internal stage, they may use their knowledge and experience to assess the news. In the second stage, external stage, they often cross-check the information with trusted friends and families. For you, you should consider the source, as fake news sites often take on the names of well-known websites to trick you into thinking they're authentic. Also check the tone of the headline, as it often does not tell the whole story. If the headline is not neutral, for example in this case, the original BBC article remains neutral, grapefruit linked to breast cancer, whereas the true disinformation in the Vietnamese articles read, grapefruit causes breast cancer, or grapefruit is likely to cause breast cancer. Another good tip is looking into the author's background. Clicking on the author's name usually will lead you to their other articles. If you cannot trace the article by that author by any means, it might be a good clue that the article is not trustworthy. The sources referenced in the article are also important to consider. Fake news tend to make outrageous claims and justify them with the ambiguous said by experts or proven by science. Taking precaution as a reader may reduce some negative effects of fake news. However, it is vital that legal intervention takes place to hinder the growth of fake news. For instance, the government could implement compulsory workshops in middle schools, high schools, as well as colleges, and even offices to educate people about the impact of fake news and how to identify them as we've just instructed you.